I know Stephen Lawson joined us live for the first time in 2026. It was your bump in the ratings that enabled the WSB radio powers that be to increase the chair budget. So thank you, Stephen.
Listen, however Santa delivers, I'm happy.
Hope you had a great Christmas and New Year's. Everything went well with the fam?
I did. It was a wonderful time. Hope you did as well, and hope all your listeners out there, Happy New Year.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Talk about coming in, jumping from the fire into the fire pan. I was like, oh, well, it'd be a nice calm start to 2026.
Right.
We can ease into things. Definitely not Venezuela, Greenland, all of this stuff going on. But I want to focus on politics. Yesterday on the show, we mentioned Marjorie Taylor Greene's resignation from her House seat went into effect at 11:59 p.m. Now vacant. There's going to be a special election and most likely a runoff to fill that seat. So we're looking like end of April, early May for Speaker Johnson to get that Republican vote back. Do we know anything about the candidates? Deborah went through the 9 or 10 candidates yesterday. Anything we can read into early? I'm assuming, and maybe I shouldn't assume, that no one's going to get 50% out of the gate on this to avoid a runoff.
I think that's highly unlikely. Yes, as you said, Mark, the governor has set that special election for March 10. With a likely runoff occurring on April 7th. I believe there's about 10 candidates who have announced, although they will have to qualify next week and pay that qualifying fee.
Okay.
So I think that could winnow down the list a little bit. No clear front runner. I think there's a lot of local names. And look, I think that you could see additional names potentially qualify next week. Here's the tricky part. The person is going to run, whoever wins the special election is then going to have to run again
in November.
In May.
Oh, May.
May primary.
That's right.
And then November. So lots of elections going on, lots of complications, but it's going to be really interesting to see. Do Republicans in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district go with another firebrand a la Marjorie Taylor Greene, or do they go a more traditional Republican conservative who may be focused on more kitchen table issues? That's going to be a dynamic to watch.
It's going to be a Republican, right? That's a safe seat. I wonder if we're going to, and I was going to read this tweet that Marjorie Taylor Greene posted this morning, but it's just too long. Just, the gloves are off, no holds barred anymore. Would she give an endorsement in this race? One of the people running, Jim Tully, worked on her staff. Might she endorse, her coworker for the seat? And if so, would that have impact in her district?
She has said that she will not be endorsing in the race, but she has also said lots of things and changed her mind before. She's also said that she's not running for governor, U.S. Senate, or president. And I think there's a lot of people out there that think that she might do any one of those things. So to be seen, but as of now, she's going to stay out of the race.
You mentioned Governor Kemp setting up the special election. I think I know the answer to this question. He probably won't make an endorsement in this race, right? He's going to stay out of it.
Highly unlikely. I think on the political front, I think he's got his plate's full right now. So I don't think he'll wade into this. I think one dynamic is, does the president and or Speaker Johnson weigh in on a preferred candidate, right? Obviously, there are lots of reasons Marjorie Taylor Greene is leaving. Do they try to identify somebody they can maybe work more closely
inside
together?
President Trump's head, looking at the list of, he's going to endorse Elvis. Just name alone. Trump endorses Elvis.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that's a winner.
Elvis Casley, an actor and delivery man. One of the candidates running for Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat. All right, looking ahead to 2026, obviously, this is going to be huge here in the Peach State with the midterm. Your top 3 political storylines here in Georgia for 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with number 1. I believe affordability, cost of living, and the economy are going to determine the winners and losers in November. We know, Mark, that this is by far and away the dominant issue on people's minds. We're talking about gas, groceries, insurance premiums, cost of living, housing. Across the board, people are feeling and dealing with this. The party and the candidates that message that deliver on those things and that resonate with voters about the cost of living and do things to drive down costs, those are the candidates that are going to win.
No argument here. I think that's phenomenal insight. It will be the economy. That's the number one issue. But will the state of the economy as we approach November, have an impact on who wins or loses in the races.
100%. I think the political environment is going to shape those winners and losers, but it's a catch-22. I think the political environment is going to be dictated by those core issues on affordability.
Now, do you think that we will have, or candidates will have, a cushion when it comes to the economy? Because affordability is an issue, yes, in Georgia, but we're doing better economically here in Georgia than a lot of other states. Do you think that Georgia voters will be like, well, you know what, I see, I'm paying more for groceries and my insurance bill has gone up, but, I'm doing okay overall. Do you think that we'll be insulated? Georgia voters might be insulated to the economy issue a little bit more than other states?
It's a huge question. I think that there is a potential, and if you're a Georgia Republican, I think that is what you are leaning into.
Sure.
I think that's why this legislative session is going to be so critical for Republicans. Are they able to continue delivering on that contrast? Hey, what's going on in Washington is chaotic. They're not doing anything. But here in Georgia, we have delivered relief. And this is what we're going to do in 2026 to do it. That will be critical to their success.
Specifically in the governor's race, I would imagine.
Specifically in the governor's race, but down the ballot. I mean, you think about all of these legislative seats. You think about the lieutenant governor's race, the attorney general's race, across the board. I think it's going to be a very important legislative session for Republicans to deliver on those things.
All right, number one storyline, Georgia politics in 2026, the economy. Number two is what?
Donald Trump and Brian Kemp will be two critical pieces, I believe, to Republicans' fate in November. We've seen this storyline play out, right? This détente that they've established. And we know for Republicans to be successful, they have to get voters, they have to get Donald Trump voters out, and they have to get Brian Kemp voters out. We've seen when that happens really well in 2022
Absolutely.
and 2024. We've seen when that hasn't happened well, a la 2020. That will be critical. I think you're going to need both of those key players in the Republican field in Georgia to turn out those voters. If one or neither of them are hitting on all cylinders, it could be bad news for Republicans.
Do you think, and I'm sorry if this is a weird question to ask, or I'm going to ask it weirdly, but that Trump-Kemp dynamic, both have an extreme amount of power, political power, when it comes to moving voters, shaping voters, leading voters to certain candidates. Do you think they'll have a greater impact in the Senate race or in the governor's race?
I think both. I think both are going to be critical. I think in Georgia, we understand how important Brian Kemp is to turn out those moderate, independent swing voters. We've talked about that looking just back in 2022 when you saw there were 150,000 voters who voted for Raphael Warnock and Brian Kemp.
Yeah.
That is not an insignificant number of voters.
Split ballots, it was insane when we got those post-election numbers.
That's right. But we also know that President Trump is really critical in driving out those low propensity Republican voters that were critical to his success in 2024. I think it's going to take a both and approach for Republicans to be successful in 2026.
That being said, when voters go to the polls in November, there's no Trump on the ballot and there's no Kemp on the ballot. Is that going to make a difference?
Yeah, and I think that's even more reason why both of those gentlemen, both of those leaders need to be working together, swimming in the same direction, rowing the same direction to get Republicans down ballot over the finish line.
We've already seen, I don't want to spend too much time on point number two, but I think it's really important. We've already seen President Trump, hit the campaign trail, so to speak, to try to shore up. He warned GOP congressman yesterday that if the Democrats regain control of Congress, they're going to impeach him. Can we expect Donald Trump hitting the campaign trail in Georgia a bunch in 2026?
Yeah, I think that's a critical piece of that. Is Donald Trump here? Is he pushing out those low propensity voters? And is Brian Kemp part of that, helping working together to get those swing, independent, suburban voters out as well? I think, again, both critical pieces of the puzzle, but we know certainly with President Trump, he is also an animating force for the Democrats, which leads me to my third key.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Is this the year that Democrats put all of the pieces together and are able to win statewide in a significant way? We've seen that the Democrats certainly have had some momentum. We've talked about the two Public Service Commission races that they won. They were able to win a special election in a House seat recently. The environment certainly is trending in their direction. There's a long way to go. Is this the year that they are able to put all those pieces together and win, again, hold that U.S. Senate seat, but potentially pick up other seats? I think there's questions on that side of the ballot that we've talked about. I think certainly when you look at a Keisha Lance Bottoms, the front runner for governor on that side, I think certainly she has significant vulnerabilities. So I think candidate quality on that side of the aisle will certainly matter. But the environment is trending their way to potentially make this very, very competitive cycle.
Yeah, and it's so, I mean, you mentioned it too, but it's only January 7th. And there's so many things that can and will happen news-wise between now and November that it's ridiculous to even make a prediction. But I'm not gonna make a prediction, but I think if the Democrats win a seat in November, it's more likely they hold the Senate than win the governor's race. From where I'm sitting now on January, and they might lose both or they might win both, but I think it's more likely that Ossoff will hold his seat than a Democrat will be in the governor's mansion.
That is the conventional wisdom, and I would agree with that. But there's certainly lots of dynamics, lots that can change. I think certainly Senator Ossoff is in a strong position, but he has also taken a number of vulnerable votes that I think Republicans will exploit. Can they nominate the right candidate, the best candidate that can be a foil to him? And then in the governor's race, certainly, obviously, we haven't had a Democrat governor in the state in over 20 years. I don't think that is likely to change. But again, if Democrats are able to catch fire, if they're able to keep this momentum going, nominate the right candidate, and if the environment continues to trend their way, it could get really close.
Top 3 things you need to know in 2026 from political analyst Stephen Lawson. I'm telling you now, keep your phone on 24/7 because we're going to be leaning on you heavily, my friend.
Buckle up. It's going to be a fun year.
Dentons.com, 50% off with code word Eric.